Hello everyone, I'm Rashmi Bhandary and I've got two of my students. We've got Shri Jesh and Shreya, both from computer science. And they have cleared Galaxe Solutions and 2024 batch. So let's hear it from them, the whole process. So what was the eligibility, Shri Jesh?
So eligibility was 70% and that's it.
Only engineering or?
Engineering and
even 10th and 12th,
yeah.
Okay, alright. And which branches?
It was CS, IS and even EC.
Okay, these three.
Yeah.
Okay. And what were the rounds?
We had 3 rounds. One was the aptitude round, and next was the technical round. And the third was technical and HR together combined.
Okay, no, the written was, the online was
online, everything was
aptitude
online.
and coding. These are the two, and then the interviews, right? So, okay. So, what was there in the aptitude, if you remember?
Aptitude, basic like aptitude questions, like the number series questions were the sequence questions, then time work questions, work done, speed questions, and also some Java technical questions were the, like to get the output and all, and pointer questions.
Yeah, anything to add?
So like when it comes to aptitude, the first one, there were like all the topics which were included, and if we are thorough with the apti sessions taken by the college,
so
it will be
enough.
Yeah.
Okay, if you
but
do
we
that,
have to be thorough with all the.
Okay, naturally you have to sit and practice.
And it was not easy, I would say, because
yeah, it's not easy.
I mean, compared to the if you compare with the interviews, technical interviews. Apti was difficult compared to that. Interviews went easy, but aptitude you need some practice to get everything done, and it was like stipulated time also.
Yes.
So and then it had.
How much time was there for the test, Apti, if you remember?
I think 1 hour.
1 hour. That is aptitude and technical.
Aptitude and coding.
Okay.
So 57 questions were the aptitude, and 3 of them were like coding. And within that 57, it was distributed like for aptitude, aptitude. Then we had English some questions and also technical, like Java, OOPS concept and all. And when it comes to coding, there were 2 like program based, and one was SQL, that is DBMS questions. So if you would talk about like the questions, the coding questions were, one was very easy. Like you were supposed, there were a lot of, there were details given. You are supposed to make it into a JSON object. You have to print it in that form. One more was related to bit manipulation topic, and one SQL was there were tables. You are supposed to retrieve the data. But one catch was there was account number. In that, half of the account number was supposed to be like hidden format. So that was the SQL question. So that was our first round, like the aptitude and coding.
Okay. So when you have to rate the aptitude and the technical, which did you find more difficult?
The coding.
The coding part was more difficult for you. You found.
For me, aptitude, because coding, one I got the right answer. Both other 2 I had got partial.
Okay.
So aptitude was like.
You took more time in aptitude.
Yeah.
Negative marking was there?
No.
No negative. All right. So after this, then what was the next round?
Next one was the technical interview.
Technical interview straight. All right. How do you remember how many got shortlisted?
Like 16 of us got shortlisted for technical interview.
So with so many writing and only 16 getting shortlisted, clearly shows it was tough. Okay, it was tough. It was not easy. Because many times people think, oh, aptitude is very easy. It's not easy, students. Let me tell you time and again, it's not easy. Because I'm sure that more than 200 students would have taken it up, and of that 16 are shortlisted, and of that finally 12 are selected. So see, if you see, the screening is not done after that much filtration. So the major filtration happened during the aptitude. So if you are a first year or a second year student, please work on your aptitude and work also on your coding and all that. Okay? Yeah. Yes.
Then next was the technical round. There they asked about, first they asked me, tell me about yourself question, where I mentioned about Java program, like that my interest was in Java. Then they asked basic concepts, like OOPS concepts. And they also told me to write a code. It was easy, like to swap 2 numbers. Also, if you know one method, you have to study the other methods of the same code. Like they'll ask if there are other methods to solve this problem or not, like that. And also then they ask DBMS questions, OS questions also, and SQL. All basics they ask, nothing more complicated.
Okay. So you remember any sort of question that they asked? I mean, you said, okay, these concepts, but in that concepts, what did they ask? Like, how did they frame the question?
Like direct questions. They asked, like what is, like OOPS concept, what is polymorphism and all. And simple software development also they asked, like what is software, what are the phases, DBMS, how to normalize also. They are like normalization concept is there. How to do the normalization on there. That's
All right.
So for me, again, it was technical, and starting with the introduction. Once I finished my introduction, ma'am, I almost like told all about the web development because I was into it. So interviewer had asked me like, tell me more about front end development, back end development. How do you connect these like the front end and the back end? How do you maintain the security in all these projects you do? As my resume considered projects of web development, ma'am had asked all about those topics. And then as the role was mainly about Java, so ma'am asked questions on Java, how you can implement those things that you did in web through Java, like the backend part, because Java is usually used for backend. So how you can implement that in Java, and more questions like interfaces, abstraction, abstract class, and OOPs like polymorphism, how you can connect. She went little deep, not like direct for me. It wasn't very direct. Like what is polymorphism? It was like how you can implement that in the Java. That is what ma'am had asked. And then after that, ma'am jumped into DBMS. That is what is DBMS? Basic questions on DBMS, and then natural joins, normalization, how you can do that, and SQL, how you can implement those things in SQL. Then in the end, there was one puzzle like 2 containers given, 3 liter and 5 liter, and unlimited supply of water. How you can I am supposed to make the 5 liter, I mean the quantity of water in the 5 liter should be 4. So how you can get it done? If you are like, there is one basic approach to get it done, but if new approach is given, then it is really appreciated.
What is that basic approach?
Like how you can get it done.
So how do you get all this? Because I was asking the previous students also. So there is a site, isn't it?
Yeah, like correct. What I referred was Geeks for Geeks. They had like 100 top puzzles which were asked in all the most common interviews, and those had like some similar these content. So but it was little advanced. But if you know the advanced one, you can get the easily solved.
So that was advanced.
Like there were 3 containers. Here it was only 2 containers. So if you know thoroughly
that, then
yeah,
you can solve this.
Yeah.
So that's good, students. Please. So this is what you can do in the first year. First year you can do your puzzles and all that, right? Get into that. You can start off with your coding also. So yeah. So yeah, tell me.
So there is one more site, Prep-Insta. Even that has a lot of puzzles. So you they can look into it and solve that. Like you don't have to solve everything. Just 1 or 2 daily, 1 or 2 in a week would be suffice if it's like from first year. We started preparing by the end, so we had to go through 100 questions.
Yeah, so don't keep in a day.
Yeah.
So don't do that, okay? So keep it, start off. You have all the time till your first year and the second year to start.
And it's
off.
Interesting also, like
puzzles
to solve.
are very interesting to solve.
Alright. And then after this, what else?
It was for me. It was like more of get to know kind of session, like, and it was technical also, but kind of like more knowing me.
Yes, no, they are very friendly.
Yeah.
They are friendly to make you feel comfortable, but then they are asking you these questions so that you are comfortable and then you can answer. But when you recollect, so your interview was basically on your project, is it?
Exactly. Yeah.
So even for you, was your project
The
asked?
second interview was mainly on my project.
Okay, not the first.
The first was just basic concepts.
All right. Okay, and then what was the second one?
Second interview, first tell me about yourself, she asked. Then she asked about, I was I'm in an organization in our college. So she asked about
which one?
IEI, I am the secretary of IEI. So she asked about how do you conduct hackathons, what are the process of hackathons conducting, what if problems arise, what will you do at that time. So just like how can you manage all those things, she asked. Also next, after that she went to project session. She asked all about the project, like she went deeply, how did you do that, and also in one project I had connected Firebase as database. What are the difference between Firebase and our normal data SQL? All those she asked. Like 2 projects I had, both
so you had 2 projects, and when did you do these projects?
Like it was academic project, one in the 5th sem and one more in the 6th sem.
Yeah, but actually ideally students can start off doing a project right in the first year.
Yeah. If there are many projects, it will be more
helpful. It is better, and then by the time you come to your final project, it will be even of better quality because you have done so many, right? Yeah.
Then she has some basics, same like the previous thing, Java basic concepts, DBMS, some queries also she has there on DBMS, same with the query, how to do that. And also she asked about the courses I have done, like the question on courses, like why those courses are helpful. And
Which courses had you done?
I'm this one, NPTL's the data Python for data science I am doing. In that she asked why data science is required, like new technologies, why those new technologies are coming. Like previously there was no data science and all. Now it is having fame. So why it is required and all. She asked. Then the basic strength weakness questions.
Okay. It's not a basic question. People goof up strength and weakness. Alright. People goof up even with tell me about yourself, even though everyone knows this is an expected question.
Yes. Then also situation based, like if conflict arises between you and your teammate, what will you do? And
so what will you do?
I said that I'll first try to resolve within ourselves, and if not resolved, then we may go to our supervisor or something, mentor or something like that.
Alright. Okay. What about you?
So sir first started with like casual hi, and then going into like you had your breakfast, what you did in the morning, what did you do, and are you nervous? Then he asked
so when he asked you, are you nervous, what did you say?
I told I'm little nervous and also little excited.
Okay, good. That's a nice answer.
So then he was like, how did the previous interview go? I told it was very good. And then I asked, like I forgot to ask about yourself, so tell me about yourself. And he also mentioned that don't tell me what is there in the script, tell me something that is not there in the script that you prepared. So it went for a while, and then when I ended, he was like 20 years of life and this is only this much. So tell me more. And I continued telling different things, my interest, all those I elaborated, which I had kept very short. Then after that, so I also mentioned about freelance. I do freelance. I started freelancing few months back. So he asked me, how did you get connects and what did you do? All I told about the websites which I created. And then
that's a strong point. See, someone who freelances, someone who works, all these are added points, you know. So naturally, you would be way ahead than the others.
Yeah, like if you do, even if you do projects which are not part of the curriculum, then that is also an added point. And all my projects which I had mentioned, only one was from the curriculum. Others were my own, which I had done throughout the engineering. And first year and second year projects, they won't be that good quality, but they will build your base, whatever. So that is why it is important. But when you jump into third year, you will be able to create something which is of very high value and that you can mention in the resume. So I had mentioned that, and sir had asked me like freelancing one part. He had asked me, can you show the project that you are currently working on? So I screen shared that, and he was like, okay, how did you do that? And my projects were on React, that is one framework for building websites. So he had asked questions on that. Before that, he had asked me like, what is your favorite subject? And I told web is my favorite subject as I was working on that. Then he was like, I'll ask you about jQuery. That was a topic that is there in the syllabus. I told I can answer, but I'm not very familiar, as it is in the syllabus the things are like old kind of. So we don't use that much. I told I can answer questions on React, which I'm currently working on. So he's like, okay, I'll ask on React. And he asked a few questions. I could answer some, but some were like very theoretical. I am not very well versed on that. But he was okay with the answer what I have given. And then later, after some discussions on that, he asked me one aptitude question, like profit and loss. I was given 500 rupees and I bought around 80 flowers, and then 10 flowers got damaged. I am supposed to make 25% profit. What rate is at what rate can you sell one flower? So you can, you don't have to give a correct answer. You can just tell him the right approach on how you can get the answer done. I did one approach and I approximated the values and got somewhere around 612 or something. It was supposed to be 625. As I approximated, it came down. So sir was like, you have to get profit, not loss. This is my approach, sir. I was like, okay. Then was done.
See, this sort of confidence comes because you know when you do a lot of stuff. So maybe because you're freelance, maybe because you've done a lot of projects, and this gives you then the thing to tell on the spot, right? Because such answers many times you just keep quiet. But like you said, yes, you were, so that's very important. What I want to tell the students, please get into doing things, like you're doing a project, you're doing an internship, or you're doing so many activities, and then you're interacting with people, and then what happens is, it becomes very natural for you to talk naturally in an interview. Otherwise, it's like, oh, everything is memorized, and then you're not very spontaneous.
Yeah, you will forget some stuff that you have prepared.
Yes.
So if you are very confident with the base and whatever you have done, you can very fluently answer, and they will also be knowing that you know what you are talking.
Yes.
So that is one main important thing that we should focus on, like doing projects or working somewhere, even if it's like not paid, or you shouldn't like go back or talk I want paid, or you can work, and once you have good experience, of course you'll be paid for your work that you're doing. So
Alright, so how did you get this contact of work of this freelancing?
So I'm part of Challenger. So the Prajwal who is there, he told me that one of his friends need a website. So like as we did for Aerophilia's website team, I was part of it. I did the front end part. So he was okay with my skills, and he told, can we do
So please be in touch with your friends, your alumni, and everyone. You never know who can approach you when. So build your network. Actually, when you're in college, you should be networking. And be in touch with your seniors. You're a first year, then you think, oh, how do I talk to a final year? For example, if anyone wants to talk to these people as a first year, it's better to contact them right when you're in college. Once they move out, it's very difficult. You're still around 1 year. Do the juniors come and talk to you all? I'm just asking in general.
No. I mean, if we are in some sort of club, then if they are part of it, then for some doubts or something, they will approach. But other than that, there is no such communication.
Juniors, I think, should be doing it, and you also should be involving the juniors a lot, because see, you have so much of knowledge and so much of value you can give to them, but it is lost because they don't come to you, and naturally you also don't then go about sharing. So any junior can come to you and talk to you. So anyone who's listening, they're there in college, another 1 year, make the best use of all your seniors, because they're all writing companies. They have so much of experience, and you can actually leverage on that. All right. So any last minute, and then did you have an HR round?
No, ma'am.
No HR. All right, that's it. So any tips that you want to give to your juniors? I mean, I'm talking about first years and all that, First of all, these videos we are doing is actually meant for the first years and second years, not meant for people, tomorrow Galaxy, day after Deloitte, so then I open the Deloitte video. Then how do you do your projects, when do you start doing your coding and all that? So this is all you can build up.
So first few things that are important is communication, because when you get into a job, collaboration is the main thing. So if you don't know how to communicate or express your views or your ideas, then you won't be very useful to the company, or
even to get into the company. Even the interview itself.
Communication is very important. And then second thing is the basic knowledge of all the subjects. I mean, many of the subjects might be boring, and the stack that we use are like, they teach is completely outdated. But you must know the basics, because those are the fundamentals that are through which these frameworks are built on. So if you don't know that, then you cannot do anything. And questions in Galaxy were basically like fundamentals only. So all those things you have to be thorough, like DBMS, OS, networking, and OOPS. All those concepts are very important. Then third thing is you have to code daily, like if it's possible. It is possible.
It is possible because they're only studying. Nobody over here is working. So, majority of the students, nobody's working.
Like Lead Code, CodeChef, these platforms are like very important. Like data structures and all is a very important concept. Not only for this company, it might be for any company. And bigger package companies and all, they basically focus on data structures. So solving 1 or 2 questions a day may be easy also from first year, might be very useful, because by the end of 2 or 3 years, you'll be solving around 900 questions if you solve every day. So that is very beneficial. We didn't do that, and we realize the mistake now, so which is why we are telling it. So that is one thing. Coding, there are many platforms like Lead Code, CodeChef, and then Coding Ninja. It's a very new platform, and you get college leaderboard also, so that you can compete with friends.
So you mean to say Sahyadri students are doing it, and you can see others?
There are currently.
So students are actually using it. Oh wow.
Some are,
not everyone.
Not everyone. Many are not.
Okay, but then you can see who's done what, and you can rank yourself based on.
There is a leaderboard, and how many questions are solved, you get points, and it will get automatically updated. Currently, there are like 20-30 students of Sahyadri who are in the leaderboard.
So all from which year?
All from like third. There are few to second years, I guess, but what I see is like third years and fourth.
Final years.
Final
years now, because we are there for placements.
So we are working on it.
All right.
So that is one.
Okay. Anything to add, Shruti?
Also, the apti questions are also very important, because they were not that easy. like if you start from first years, then you can first year itself, then because in the final year you will be more focused on coding also.
Yeah.
And other projects also will be there.
Yeah.
So if you start from first year, then you can like you will finish the basics and you will get the approach to solve the problems and all.
All right.
They're interrelated actually, like coding and aptitude. If you're good with aptitude, you'll be getting good at coding also. And many companies like first round will be aptitude,
Yes.
and like only few companies offer first round as a coding.
Yes.
But most even in off campus, it's
Yeah,
apti questions are.
They'll put an apti to make it tougher, okay? Because naturally you're not doing apti, so best way to screen you off is to put an apti. So please, students, work on your apti. It's basically 8th, 9th, 10th maths. Only thing is time is there and you need to practice. Any sites for aptitude which you would recommend?
Prep Insta is there.
Prep Insta more than enough, you're saying. And India Bix is also there, isn't it?
I was only referring college.
That college material is also
That college material is good.
Yeah.
All right. So you please refer that, and then Prep Insta is there. Prep Insta you said,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. And then for coding you've already told. And for the academics, any sites?
Interview bit has like concept wise important questions, 50-50, and like they have segregated as easy, medium and high level. So for freshers, easy and medium is enough, and for each subject they have provided 50 to 100 questions.
So even your V2 subjects will be covered, your college subjects?
Like college, when you answer the questions, you need to elaborate a lot of things. But there is basically just to tell the interview that you know that concept. So it will be like 5 lines or.
So that is good, no?
Yeah.
Because even for you to understand, many times the concept is not understood,
Yeah.
and if you can just to get the gist of it.
Yeah, that is one thing. Then one more is there is Gate Smashers YouTube and all. That is helpful for both even the VTU and the interview also, because they explain it through problems like examples.
All right.
So if you understand the example, then forming the sentence and explaining the theory is easy.
So that is also for even the EC and the mechanical. All subjects are there in it or.
No, it's
Smash is
basically
mainly
computer science
computer
because
science,
gate, they are explaining the topics for gate. So
Okay.
gate that depends on the subject, like what
All
we.
right. But maybe even for a mechanical, because
But
maybe
I'm not
they,
sure,
maybe you have not
yeah.
checked. So maybe if someone is watching, just check even if it's there for the other subjects. So thank you very much, both of you. Because this really helps at least someone who's watching, and if they want to start preparing right away. So till we meet again, it's bye from all of us.